folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today I'm here to tell you why I love Caverna. Caverna from Uwe Rosenberg from Lookout and Mayfair Games is the sequel to Agricola. Now when Agricola hit the world, it hit it by storm. It was a big, complex Euro game with a lot of options and so many different things going on, and people loved it. And Caverna was a sequel to that, which for me replaced Agricola completely, and there's a lot of reasons. I'll mention a few of them as I go over this. But I really like the idea of Caverna. The theme is kind of funny. You're a bunch of dwarf farmers who are farming and building a nice giant cavern and mining, because that's what dwarfs do. One of the reasons I like Caverna is just the sheer number of components that's in it. It's like this plethora of this explosion, and they're good quality components too. Now I normally, when I get games like this that have a lot of components, I upgrade them. And I have upgraded a few things in Caverna, but for the most part, the basic stuff that comes in here, it's not piles of cubes of different colors. They're shaped, they're like vegetables and weed and the different animals, and there's so many things, and it just, when you put it on the table, people come by and are like, wow, what is this? It can seem overwhelming at first because there's a lot of pieces, but they also all make sense thematically how they fit into the game. Caverna is a worker placement game. You start with 2 workers and you can get more by having kids throughout the game. And I like worker placement games like Caverna because they offer a plethora of choices. The thing I like about Caverna is you have an embarrassment of riches, really. As you look there, you say, wow, there are so many things that I can take. I could go there. I could go here. Oh, you went there, you blocked me there. But that's okay, because here is good too. It's never like you feel like, oh, this turn I didn't get anything at all. There is a lot of great choices that you can make throughout the game, and that comes in with divergent paths to victory. Do you want to build up all the spaces on the board and have a big farm and grow crops, or do you want to have big fields full of animals, or do you want to dig deep into the caverns and get lots of rubies and ore and things? And there are many different ways to victory, and so there's not one way. And more importantly, I really like that this game offers points for all sorts of things and allows you to focus. See, this is one of the reasons I like it better than Agricola, because Agricola said, have a little bit of everything or you're in trouble. Caverna says, do what you want. You want to have 80 sheep? I don't think that's possible, but go for it. You want to just have mines and forget having animals completely? You'll be docked a few points, but go for it. You can still win the game. And I love that it lets you kind of focus on one thing. I will be the donkey farmer of the ages. And you can do that in Caverna. Feeding your people. This was something in Agricola that you could get caught up in Agricola. Feeding your people the entire time. And a lot of games have picked up on this. Feeding your people is a way to kind of balance games out. In this game, you have too many workers. You got to feed them. Feeding can be a strenuous thing, can put stress upon you. But in Caverna, it's actually fun because there's so many ways to feed people. It was difficult in Agricola. It's difficult in other games. In Caverna, it's pretty easy. There's a begging card you can get if you don't feed your people. In the scores of games I played in Caverna, I've only ever seen that card taken once, because it's just very possible. It's like, ooh, I'll do this. I'll feed them this way. And feeding is something that you're trying to do, but it's not the focus of the game. The game comes with different rooms. And by the way, I recommend you play Caverna on the advanced side, which gives you a lot of rooms. And I've had a lot of people complain to me and say the cards give so much more options than the rooms do. That's true. The deck of cards in Agricola has a ton of options. But I really feel like the Caverna rooms, there's a lot going on. Every time I play, I'm picking different rooms to stick in my thing. I just don't see how that's going to get old that quickly. There's a lot of diversity in the number of rooms. And these rooms, again, allow you to pick and focus on a strategy. There's limited interaction in Caverna. I mean, you can put your workers where someone else wanted to go, or take the room that they were planning to buy. But other than that, you're not really affecting each other, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I want to be the master of my domain, build my own cave and fields up, and I can do that without really having other people bother me. The game grows with you as there's a certain number of spaces, and each turn we add more spaces. And I found that this makes the game really easy to teach, because I explain the starting spaces, and then as each new one comes out, I say, this is how this plays. And it also lets the game feel like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes by. And I really enjoy that growing feeling, because not only are you growing your own domain, but the game itself is growing, and the options that you can take get better. There's 2 things I really like about Caverna. The questing system. Now, the questing has nothing to do with quests. You don't feel like you're going out fighting monsters or whatever. But being able to upgrade your dwarves with weapons and send them out on quests lets you bring back a whole variety of treasures. And questing seems so good, and it's so much fun, and offers so much diversity. Why wouldn't everyone do it? Because if many people are going for questing, then the person who doesn't will likely run away with the game, because everyone else is fighting over the materials you need to go quest. They can do what they want. At the same time, if only one person goes questing, they're going to get all the materials they want and go out. So as the game goes by, you kind of pick who's going to go questing and who's not. And the game has a really interesting mechanism that way. I like how as you go out and you get experience, you're bringing back better and better rewards. Like, oh, how am I going to get this? I'll send my dwarf out and he'll bring it home. And I also like the rubies in this game. The rubies are worth a point at the end of the game. There are various ways to get rubies. There's a space on the board, just grab some. But rubies can be traded in for all sorts of things. Like, I need some of this. Oh, I'll trade in a ruby and get it. Sure, it's giving away a point, but that ruby is like that ace in the hole. You never ever feel like, how can I get what I need? No, a ruby will handle that for you. So those two things really add to me a lot to the game. I think Caverna really appeals to me more than anything else because when you're done, you're like, look what I've built. Look at this cool cavern I built, or look at the farms. And I know that appeals to people because when I mention this to people, sometimes people say, how can you play a game about farming? Would you want to be a farmer? Oh no, never. I don't want to be a farmer, but at the same time when I'm done here, I look at this. It's the same reason people like SimCities and Sim whatever, because when you're done, you can say, this is what I have made. This is a fantastic, cool thing you put together. And that is why Caverna is so much fun. Caverna is a great game. It scales well in players. When I first saw it with the 7 players, I was like, nah, never going to happen. And I still haven't played a 7-player game, but I played a 6-player game, and it wasn't nearly as long or as bad as I thought, and goes all the way down to 2, and spits fire with 2. I played with 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Most of the time I play with 4, I think, but I don't mind switching player counts, which is something that doesn't happen in a lot of other games I have. A fantastic, amazing game. I love it. And folks, that's why I like Caverna.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.